Alright guys, Hellspawn here with another review for you. This thing is really cool. This is made by WETA Collectibles, and this is the only thing I've ever seen in person from WETA as a company. And I'll have to admit, it's neat, man. Here's the thing. This is repainted. This is not what the original looks like. The original Cortana is totally clear. She does have a bit of a gradient where she fades from clear to like a clear translucent blue. But that's it. And she's got little white dots over it. There's really no other paint on Cortana at all. I repainted this. It's a metallic blue paint. And it's a metallic blue mixed with a gloss white for all the little like information dots that are all over her skin. I also painted the hair, and I also painted the lips and did a couple other things, and it looks really good. I think it looks a lot better than what the original did. Let me explain to you why I painted this statue. Not only does it look better now, which I'm really happy about, but this does not belong to me. This is my friend Chuck's, who let me borrow this so that I could review it. It got sent to my house, and I was reviewing the statue while he was sitting on the couch, and when I had taken Cortana off of the Master Chief's hand and put her back into his hand again, apparently it was not seated properly, and Cortana proceeded to fall and hit my desk, and her hair broke because it's like a bald head with hair that's kind of glued onto it. The hair shattered, and I broke one of the fingers off. So I pretty much bought him a statue at that point and said, well, if I'm going to have to pay for another statue for him, and I'm going to end up probably keeping this one, I'm going to try and fix it. I couldn't find all the pieces, so what I did was I went to Michael's and found some Sculpey, and I sculpted the hair again. The parts that I couldn't find, I went ahead and re-sculpted, which is right here in the top middle part of his head, her head. And I couldn't find the finger, so I went and got a Cloaked Predator 2 micro bust that had already had a couple dreadlocks break off of it. And I used one of the dreadlocks to make another finger for her here, so you can't even hardly tell that anything ever happened to it. I also repainted the base. The base was almost the same color as the glove, and it was just solid. There was no detail to it whatsoever. So I painted it silver, then I put black down into the cracks of the base, wiped that clean, and then painted a silver wash over top of the black. This thing looks so much better now that I'm done with it. And actually it looks so good that when I finished painting it, my friend Chuck came over and took a look at it, and he said that now he'd rather keep this one instead of having me order another one. So, Chuck will be keeping this statue. I won't have it for very long, but I'll go ahead and spin it around here. If any of you ever decide that you want this statue and you'd like to have it repainted, I can definitely repaint it for you. Of course, there would be a price, but it definitely does add to it and makes it look really cool. So, definitely a neat statue. I'd say it's probably about 17 inches tall. It's almost as tall as my Boba Fett premium format with it on the base. The sculpt is great. The hand looks awesome. The paint on it was originally really good, but only the hand and the chip were painted. Everything else really wasn't painted. The way it sat, I'd have gave it a 9 out of 10. The way it looks now that I'm done with it, I give it a 10 out of 10. I'm telling you, man, this blue chrome paint that I found at Michael's, it just looks amazing on this figure. It looks so good. All I did was paint in all the little areas where she, when you look at her in the game, how she has certain areas that are darker than others, little patches and stuff. I went through and painted all those little patches, like down her arms and down her legs and stuff, that chrome blue, and I still left all of the translucent resin or whatever it is that they made this out of alone. That's just part of her normal smooth skin. I'm going to go ahead and lift the camera up, and I'm going to do this close up for you holding the camera, so it may be a little shaky, but I really don't want to mess with it too much, especially seeing as what I did last time. So you can see here, this is her head, and I'm going to go ahead and give you like a top view so you can see. That area right here in the front, that's all resculpted by me. You almost can't even tell that anything was ever wrong with it. So I'm very happy with that. I also two-toned her hair. I gave it a dark wash over top, which I wiped off, and it left all the dark highlights down in the cracks with the dark blue. You can see her body, how I repainted everything, and I added all the little dots. The dots that WETA had on there before were just really quickly done. And there's the chip that she's on, which is actually really freaking cool. But yeah, the WETA dots, they looked like they were rushed, and a lot of them almost looked like dashes. They didn't look like dots. So I went back through, and every one of those little blue dots I did individually by hand with a little dot making tool apparatus, or whatever you want to say. But yeah, I mean, dude, this is awesome. Looking at this, it's like I was okay to keep it after that. But then when he saw it, I was like, yeah, well, okay, no problem. I'll go ahead and save myself the money. And then there's the Master Chief's hand. Let me back up a little bit there for you so that you can see the hand all the way around. Really cool statue, man. If anybody has the money to get these things, they're about $187 on eBay. You can pick them up. It'll probably cost you about $200 total. But I'm telling you, this is awesome. You can see the base here that I repainted as well. I've never really done a lot of painting, but man, this turned out really good. I was surprised at how well I did at this. Also, it's really cool if you look at the chip from the side. You can see her toe kind of coming through the bottom of it, like she's just coming out of the chip. Anyway, so one more quick, all the way down there. So I'll go ahead and set this back up. Back. And zoom out just a little bit. Bam. Over there, you can see that's my Boba Fett premium format. They're sitting on about the same surface. The Boba Fett's a little further back than the Cortana, maybe about 8 inches. But you can see how damn close they are. This is cool. That's my hand next to it. I mean, it's the Master Chief hand is a little smaller, but not by too much. It's really cool. If you guys get a moment to pick it up, I would definitely do it. Like I said, you can find them on eBay. I think the lowest price I've seen is $187 plus shipping. I'll go ahead and do this one time. I'm going to take her off of the hand so that you can see how she comes off of the hand. And then I'm going to put her back again, and I'm not going to touch it, because I don't want to risk breaking this thing again. I've never broken a statue before in my life. You guys have seen all the stuff that I have. I'm like a museum curator with all my stuff. If I ever broke anything, I just freak out. This is the first thing I ever broke, and I was absolutely like heartbroken that I did something like that. I was so pissed. So yeah, I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to go ahead and take her off. Right down here, there's a notch. There's like a groove in this finger, a groove in this finger, and there's a post, a hole where a post from the chip goes into the index finger. This thing kind of sucks because it doesn't sit very well. It sits well once you get it in there. I mean, once you've got it in the grooves, it's pretty good in there. But I'll show you. It comes apart just like that. And then if you look, there's the post that goes into the hole on the finger. And there's the chip. You can actually see the bottom where her toe is coming out. Really cool stuff. The hole is right here on the hand. I'll also show you the bottom here. It's the Halo 3 Cortana, made by WETA, sculpted by Greg Tozer and signed by him. It's number 473 of 1,000. And we'll go ahead and put this back in. Also, give you a look at the finger. There's the finger, the index finger. You can't even tell that it was broken off. So I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I'm kind of like surprised by my own painting skills that I was able to redo this as well as I did. So this little peg goes in this little hole, and I'm going to do this really carefully. Now, here's the thing, and I'm not going to let go of this. See how it just wobbles around like that? That was my problem. The peg is in the hole, but the statue wobbled and fell out of the hole, and the whole thing fell. So once you get that in there, I kind of just wiggle it a little bit to make sure it's seated in both grooves real well, and then let go of it.